So I've just met you in Chester now. I've just literally almost, and you've got like a stand, and it says "Man's never been to the moon." And I guess is it? Oh, it's the Light newspaper.
It's a Light newspaper. Yes.
Now
It's the only public-funded newspaper that I know of. If anybody else knows something else, I'll certainly take it on board and give it away.
So, so obviously, one of the first things that people say is that we didn't go to the moon. So I know that's a big subject, but what are the main reasons for that? You think likely that we didn't go?
Oh, that's a really good question. These are my own opinions, by the way. My own way of looking at it, not necessarily the way of flat Earth or what. But I believe they went to the moon. They faked it to the moon to take a fake picture of the fake spinning globe Earth on the way back, to reinforce that idea, because it was going out of fashion. People were waking up to the fact we're on a flat plane, we're not on a spinning water ball.
So in the flat Earth theory, it was to sort of affirm the existing theory, if you like, or the theory that the Earth is globe.
The Earth is a globe. It's trying to reinforce it, because there were books coming out at the time. Flat Earth, there was Eric Dubé was getting a lot of traction, his videos and stuff, and he had 200 proofs, and it was getting a real lot of traction that people were talking about. So all in all, it looked like it was going the other way, and people were losing faith with this spinning water ball.
That's the story, obviously, that if they're in control of the information. I mean, with this theory is that we don't necessarily know what's true, because some higher power is in control of the information. So when you really think about it,
exactly.
What I was going to ask is the first thing that people will think of about whether there's a possibility that the moon missions didn't happen is how did they actually fake it? Where do you think they filmed the shots?
It's filmed in a studio,
which was
on Earth. A filmmaker at the time made a film about the moon later on.
So that would
can't remember his name.
And where would you do, when you say a studio, it wouldn't be the likes of the Hollywood lots where it's
it would have to be made. It actually they say they made it. They made the props. They made a big massive dome of a place to work in, and they actually filmed it inside that.
So could they, rather than say using the desert landscape of Nevada, because Nevada is vast.
They did use landscape. They did use landscape in different things.
Because that's.
But most of the actual landing, that silly thing that's supposed to have landed on the moon, you'd only seen it made of bloody sellotape and all sorts of things. How people could ever think that landed on the moon, God knows.
And do you think the shadows play into this, because he would have different forms of shadows, obviously?
Yeah, exactly. There'd only be one shadow direction. But this shows it was in a studio, because there were the shadows were coming from different directions, which would mean you'd have lighting, studio lighting.
So the why of doing it would be, do you think, to
reinforce reinforce the spinning globe Earth.
Another question about that, when you think about this, is if it would be easier to do it in a film set, obviously, why not go back since 1969 and the 70s, where they had those last Apollo missions, supposedly?
Well,
they've not been back since. Or at least in person.
There's never been any real attempt to get men back on the moon, or anybody on the moon.
Well, there supposedly is now, if we believe it, that they're gradually working towards that on Mars in the 2020s.
It won't happen. Can't
because
happen.
Of the.
It can't.
Yes.
Another point here. If you've got a globe spinning round, right, 1,000 miles an hour spinning round a globe, right. Now, that means you're hanging by your feet on the bottom part of it.
It means that the gravity pulls you towards it, but that there are parts that are literally upside down in relation to us.
Yeah, but there's
like Australia.
Arguments with arguments. If you give, I don't believe gravity, as they say it anyway. That's nonsense. Never been proven. But if you say yes, all right, have that, it means your feet are sticking even tougher upside down.
One thing about
underneath the globe.
One thing about this, I always think of with flat Earth theories. Where does that place where we are? Where are we in the cosmos, according to that theory? If we're not, orbiting around the sun, which is in turn orbiting around in the spiral arm of the galaxy, where are we in that theory?
Yeah. I'll answer that. I don't know.
I mean, that's where we were before we discovered space. We didn't know where we were.
You don't
at all.
You know, I'm sticking to things that I've done my own research on this, and this is what I've come up with. It's flat. It's supposed to be what they say. The formula is 8 inches per mile squared, which I know it sounds technical to a lot of people. What it means really is it dips down 8 inches at the first mile.
And there's a couple of things to get in. I know it's hard to get everything in, but where do you think the planet sort of ends? Because at the moment with the globe, you can go around and come back to yourself. Antarctica, for example, there's ocean surrounding it. But where does it actually end from one side to the other in a flat theory?
Yeah. Right. Now, you've heard about the ice wall that surrounds us. Where? I know you can't see that.
But we're imagining it. We're imagining
it. Take us a dinner plate.
Yes.
North Pole in the middle.
Yeah.
South Pole is around the outside, which is, we're saying, is the ice wall. Which I've got a picture of here.
So the ice wall, it's a bit like the wall in the Game of Thrones, where where it was kind of the end, and then you went to the north beyond it. So it's. So the idea is
the ice wall. Don't you get that on it?
So the idea
is the ice wall.
Is we got something like that, or at the end of the Truman Show, where he reached the edge of the scenario.
And then again, unless we got there, we wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. I'd love to go there, but we're stopped by an agreement was made in 1959 to keep ordinary people away from South Pole, Antarctica.
Because not many people get to go there, and you have to kind of apply, or it's very difficult to go there. I admit that.
I think it was £10,000 for a person to go there, something like that. And then you can only go where they tell you can go. Otherwise, you get arrested.
The other thing, and I've been up in a plane only once, and it was several years ago. But also, if you're right down on the coast, say Blackpool, and you've got a ship, and it is 30 miles away, it's flat on the horizon. You do see it go down, so it's that long. It's a long way away, but you see it go down slightly and disappear slightly under the horizon. And then when you're up in a plane, you have the sky turning a slightly darker blue, don't you? Yeah. What is the answer in flat Earth theory as to why we don't continue to see the ship almost forever? And it goes.
Well, you got atmosphere. You can't see across the road on some days, a bad day.
I mean, it's true. The haze does cancel it over time.
Yeah, you do. The haze. Plus your eyes as well. The perspective. A lot of people, only artists, are taught perspective, which is a big thing. How your eyes actually see. How you can see things.
But in theory, you should be able to, even using radio communication, see right across. Even though the haze would cancel out, you should be able to use infrared or something to go right to, say, the skyscrapers of New York or anything out on the horizon.
Yeah, it's been done. A T. Tolan, who's an expert, has been a Tolan media. Now, I don't know if you can get hold of him now because they've banned him off everything because he. It's so blatantly obvious from his stuff.
I don't know if you've
heard of him. Tolan, I think it's T. Tolan, I can't remember. What's his name? Because it's really good. He's got pictures there. He can see over 500 miles using an infrared camera.
So another reason is why, why if we really did have a flat Earth, would they want? If say we did, why would they want to hide it? What would be the reason for doing it? Do you think?
I would answer that because that's there's different angles of looking at this depending on where you're coming from. It comes from a religious aspect. They're hiding creation, God's creation.
Because
being hidden.
So really, it does sort of link into Christianity or something like that.
So that's that's their side of it. NASA making £60 million per day. Sending rockets to nowhere.
I mean, I do know someone who works and they do get paid for it, but quite a bit. But no, the other thing as well is we have day and night. So the way we think about day and night under this theory would be different. We have the idea now that the sun is going to disappear underneath what the part of the Earth we're on, and then it's going to appear roughly on the other side. But under flat Earth theory, what is the explanation for it getting dark?
Well, but to start with, we're not 93 million miles away. We're only a few thousand miles away. So you got.
So we've got a completely changed.
You've got a different thing going on. It's like a torch in a room. The torch, you're going the sun. Imagine like a torch in the room and going round, which is a different kettle.
So it would light up different parts. So if you were
parts.
say you had a model like a
behind.
railway, it would light up different parts.
And that would also, if you see sometimes, if you look, sometimes you see daylight of a night.
Yeah.
You know, people have often mentioned that. They can't be true, so they don't. They forget about it. You know.
Because it's near the horizon, but only just under it. So particularly in the, supposedly that's the regular answer that it's just gone.
Got the best clues to flat Earth.
Yeah.
Aeroplanes. Emergency landings, aeroplanes.
So why?
They are, yeah. That's
So why is that the best clue to it?
Right. Do you know what the globe looks like? Japan to Los Angeles on an aeroplane. Right? So Japan's there. You go to Los Angeles that way.
Because it goes across the Pacific to that, doesn't it?
Yeah. So you know, right?
Yeah.
The plane makes an emergency landing. Where? In Alaska.
that way.
Oh yeah.
Like dinner plate.
I actually have heard of that. But anyway.
So that's the globe. From there it goes round the globe up to the plane makes 2,000 miles away in Alaska. The plane makes there's a book 16 emergency landings. That's what you don't remember. Go and read it online.
And they have to do that under this theory because you would otherwise. I'm just trying to work that out.
On a flat Earth, if that was a flat Earth map, Japan's there, Los Angeles is here, and it's straight past Alaska. There's a ship. There's also a ship went from Japan to Los Angeles to Vancouver. Got into trouble in the Aleutian Islands in Alaska. 2,000 miles away from where it should have been. 16 emergency landings.
But what does that tell you actually?
It's 2,000 miles north of where it should have ever been.
Oh, I see. So in other words, really they should have had an emergency landing simply in LAX airport.
Well, the emergency landing, if they wanted one, would have actually been in the middle of the sea.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
There's nothing between Japan and America. Nothing there. But if you look at the flat Earth map, straight line, Japan, the Brazilian football team leave